3. Welcome everybody to the pain funnel training. This is Brian Swan, the Unstoppable Family, Unstoppable Surfer. And as you can see here, I'm not unstoppable too often when you can see all the head wounds that I have here. That is just for the shock value. And yes, it is a good shock value. Except the one thing about me giving the shock value is I got so many messages back from putting this post up there like, oh my God, are you okay? Well, I am okay right now. These injuries that you're seeing, the upper right-hand one that you see my little cursor there, and the lower left-hand one, that's the same cut, just two different angles and stuff. That was from a surfboard fin accident when I was in La Jolla, California at Wind and Sea. And if you look up here, this is another one up in Bali. This is Bali 2009. That was from a motorbike accident. The way I see that anybody that's in Bali that ever comes to Bali, it's not if you're going to get into a motorbike accident, it's when you're going to. So hopefully that one was so bad that hopefully I cleared it out for everybody for that's going to come and visit. So it's much worse than what you saw. You didn't get to see the one where I'm sitting by the pool. That was back in 2009. And yes, pray for no more motorbike accidents because that was one of the worst ones. And then if you look down here where I'm actually wheel cheering a box of wine. That was from double hernia surgery back last year when I was in Panama. So I'm okay. I'm all right. But I thought it's a cool thing when we're talking about the pain funnel, and I'm going to share with you guys what the pain funnel is. Before I do that, I want to welcome everybody. I appreciate really everybody joining me on the call tonight. Yesterday, if you got my message from yesterday saying that I'm going to go through this pain funnel training, we went on to a hangout, and at the last second, I gotta share. Let's see if I can pull up all my files here. And okay, so here's Jabril, and at the last second, so Jabril, if you don't know who Jabril is, Mr. Think Outside the Box. The chocolate traffic man. I've known Rhonda and I have known Jabril for the last 10 years, and he's been business partners. He's been doing traffic with us for at least the last 6 years. It was actually in Bali when we were there the first time that we connected, and we've been business partners ever since. And he's really the guy behind the scenes. And yesterday, 1 minute before I'm ready to go live, and it was just going to be me solo on yesterday's hangout. And I had this whole pain funnel training that I wanted to do for you. Jabril shows up on it, and I'm like, hey, Jabril, hey, dude, I'm about ready to go live. Did you need to talk to me about anything? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm excited to get to Bali because he's going to be here on Sunday or Monday. And our videographer, Dan Usher, you've seen all the incredible videos from, I'm picking him up here in 3 hours, right after I pick up Hanalei from school. And Jabril goes, yeah, I haven't been on a hangout for a while. Yeah, do you mind if I just join you? So yesterday's hangout, if you were on it live, that was not rehearsed whatsoever. But if you haven't, from the email that I sent out today, be sure to watch the hangout replay. It'll at least be up for the next 24 hours. And then we actually take them off, and then the next replay will go up. So be sure to watch that, and if you'll see that in the email that I sent you guys out, and it says the Hangout replay. So make sure you check that out. And if you really want to hear the history of us talking unplugged between myself, Jabril, our relationship, how marketing has transpired from buying marketing, leads back in the day for 10 years ago, where we just bought leads, had no idea where they come from, to now have laser beam focused people that you're connected with, in attraction marketing. When Facebook didn't exist, YouTube didn't exist, all the other social media platforms didn't exist. We started from there, and now we are here from point A to point B, and now it just keeps on evolving, right? And also, he had him and Justin, the Hippie Jedi, they've had their Facebook Mastery PPC training the last few weeks, and so they just wrapped up their last one a couple days ago. This guy, he's family to me. He's generated multiple seven figures, not only with us, but then also with like Justin and Dee, and then also he's been training people on our tribe. If you know who Nathan Buchan is, he's sat right next to me. He's the 24-year-old Kiwi plumber turned internet marketer. Right now, he's traveling the world. He's a Freedom-Preneur. He's, he was at our house. He's actually with my wife, and they're planning the whole, and my brother, at the Malaya Hotel for our Unstoppable Mastermind event right now. I'm sitting here. I wanted to do this, wrap up some things here, and then I'm going to journey on there. But my point is, if you want to hear a very unplugged journey of where we've started, right, of not really knowing what the heck we're doing online, to where it's evolved to where we are today, and now not only just between me, Jabril, and Rhonda, but then also new people like Nathan, who had no idea of anything online, from being a plumber to now he's teaching, and he's sought after for Facebook marketing and his strategies. He's actually going to be teaching at our Unstoppable Mastermind. He's taught at the last few ones, and that kid came to our first Unstoppable Mastermind back in January of just last year in Miami. So a lot can happen in a short amount of time. The main thing is that you got to take, you have to work your ass off. I'm just going to probably put it as blunt as possible. You have to work your ass off. You have to do the steps, follow a system, and make it happen. Anyway, the cool thing about, I'll wrap it up with that replay, was that Jabril was pulling up Facebook messages. So you have to watch it all the way to the end from when Nathan had no idea how to do it online, and he's chatting with Jabril like, "Hey, can you help me out with this Facebook? I want to do these ads." And Jabril was showing this conversation through Facebook from like 3 years ago to 2 years to 1 year, and it's absolutely hilarious. But the fact is, it's also very, very real. And so I'm not going to say anything more. Just watch the replay. It's cool as crap. And we went for just a bit over an hour on that. And my whole training that I'm going to share with you today, I'm like, all right, we can't do it today. I'm going to do it tomorrow, which I said I'm going to do it at 9 p.m. Eastern. And here's what happened. If you saw my email copy, is that typically living in third world countries it's not uncommon for the electricity to go out. And so electricity goes out, your Wi-Fi goes out. It's usually 10, 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. Well, it went for 2+ hours, so I couldn't send the invitation. I couldn't even make up the GoToWebinar registration. I only have a little bit of my 3G, so I couldn't even tether from my phone. I was able to send out one Instagram picture. I'm telling you, I can't make up this stuff, but it's really the way that we roll. My point behind that is, like, man, we've worked all around the world. We've been traveling for almost 7 years now as the Unstoppable family. And we're able to operate an internet business sometimes from a 3G phone. And many people don't even know how we do it. We don't even know how we do it. But if we can do it, you can do it. So I want to share today. I want to share this pain funnel. What is the pain funnel training? And before I go, I want to make sure, can everybody still hear me clearly? Put up hands, please. Put them down. Okay, I see Jasmine. Jasmine, it's great to see you. Jasmine, I've been connected to Jasmine for a long time. You're awesome. I was just in your city, I believe it's Sydney. You've got hands going up. It's all good. Questions, I'm going to look at this really quick since I'm by myself. It was a pretty wicked hangout. I love that. Okay, I was there. Sweet. I got the message late, but it worked out. Yay. So pumped, Stephanie. Yay. Deborah, that's a pretty nasty injury. We're stuck in the nasty injuries. I'm just going to gross you guys out until you guys just hang up. Now, here's what I want to share with you, is that this training that I'm giving you, it actually happened before we started into the online world. So I'm going to share this story with you. When I used to be a guy, here, I'm gonna go to it. Bam. Okay, here's me. I don't even know how I got this picture, but this was me in my corporate world. I'm 41 years old now, and back in the corporate world, I don't even know. I was probably in the mid-20s right there. I had to have been probably just out of school, out of the University of Illinois. Got my degree in engineering at the University of Illinois. And I got a job right out of school out in California. I started to learn how to surf when I went for a study abroad program in Australia. It changed my life. I made a decision. When I went to Australia, I went to study abroad, and I saw a hot chick in a bikini. You probably heard this story. and a guy catch a head-high tube, and I made a decision at 20 years old that, bam, this is going to be my life. I had no idea how I was going to do it or whatever. I grew up in a little small farming town of Cambridge, Illinois, and for all the people that know where that is, hey, how you guys doing? I think there's actually a couple of you guys on here. And grew up in not humbling, but like just middle class. My dad actually had a business in town, but we're middle class, a little bit above, and was sheltered away from the whole world. And what happened was, why we started traveling, what really transpired was this. My father actually, he passed away of AIDS 25 years ago. And what happened was that when he knew he had an expiration date, his whole life changed. And when he found that out, I was probably 11 years old, and everything stopped with him. And here's what happened. He wanted to go. Have you ever seen the movie The Bucket List? How many people have seen The Bucket List? Raise some hands. I wasn't going to tell this, but I'm just going to roll with this a little bit. You've seen The Bucket List? Yeah. One of the best movies. My dad was living the bucket list back 25, 30 years ago. And he took my brother, my sister, and myself to all parts around the world. And that's what installed, the traveling and seeing how this is a big world, right? And from there, he passed away when I was 16. That's when I went to school, university. I was like, I'm going to go to Australia. I was so naive that I only thought there was 3 countries in the world that spoke English. I'm not joking you on this either. I'm going to go back to so you can see my injuries and stuff before I get into the meat and potatoes. I thought there was the USA, because I lived there. I thought there was the UK, England, spoke English, and I thought Australia. I really didn't know that there's other countries in the world that spoke English. So I'm like, am I going to go to the UK? No, it's rainy, cold, just like where I live. Or I could go to Australia, where I hear there's hot chicks, sunshine, and there's this so-called surfing thing that I wanted to check out. Anyway, it transformed my life. That I learned how to surf, and then I went back, got my degree. I got a job in California, and I met Rhonda, my beautiful wife, Rhonda, who's the tornado. I'm actually speaking fast now, but I'm usually the mellow guy, and she's the one that's just amped up. But we met 17 or 18 years ago surfing. I'm from Illinois. She's from Detroit. And we met surfing. We've been together ever since. And, we met when we were both corporate people, right? And so you get to see me here. This is the dude that she met. So you can see how she fell in love with this handsome hunk of burning love right here. Anyway, if my jokes get too extreme, just let me know. But that's the only picture that I have from my corporate world. There's probably got to be some more, but I found this one. And here's what you got. I think that was from my 5-year, this belt buckle. It says Parker Hannafin. I actually worked for him for 9.5 years. So for my 5-year anniversary or whatever, I got a belt buckle, which I actually asked for it versus like a mantle clock or something. I think it's funny, so I'm putting it on here. Well, anyway, I'm gonna get into the training now. Are you guys still hearing me okay? Or are you guys bored? Should I just shut up and give you the training of what you're looking for? Or no? Yeah? Cool. Shut up. Start not bored. I'm still getting the grosses. You're awesome. Cool. I appreciate that here. You're fine. All right. I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of it here. Okay. Enough of the storytelling. But here's what happened. I was a robotics engineer, right? And there's about 30 of us across the United States. I covered Southern California, and then I went into California, and then I covered the whole Western United States. I'm going to give it to you, hands down, that I was not the most technical robotic engineer. I would actually have to say that I was probably one of the worst, if not the less technical engineer. And many of you guys were probably like, well, I can understand that. Yeah, you don't seem like an engineer to begin with. Well, I don't know. I was just not the typical engineer. But the one thing that I did have an advantage was I knew how to communicate. And what happened was when I realized this, when I realized that I'm not going to perform, because I was a robotics engineer, but I was a sales manager. So we were technical people, so I had to know how to do, the sizing of motors, programming, configure robotic systems in the semiconductor world for high-speed precision stuff. I wish I had some of the. I have to get some of that for future training so you can see it, because it was pretty cool stuff. But here's the thing: I knew I wasn't going to outperform sales-wise by being the most technical person. Without a shadow of doubt, I knew I was not going to be that person, right? So what I did was like, well, this is a sales job, so we compete on sales. So how am I going to differentiate myself, and how am I going to be the best? And in the 9.5 years I spent with the company, I was typically in the top, either number one or top 3, or definitely in the top 10%. I never fell below that. Why is that? It's not that I worked any harder, hours-wise, but I learned how to sell, okay? And you're wondering, well, what does this have to do? Most of you guys are coming through for the internet marketing, right? You're like going, what does this have to do, Brian, with this thing, this pain funnel, this corporate world? You with your robotics engineering, it has everything to do with where you're at right now. Because if you don't know the art, and selling is it's a weird thing. But you have to be able to communicate with people, right? And not just communicate verbally like how I'm talking to you, but also through your ad copy, through when you're doing marketing and stuff, and when you're writing emails, your broadcast emails. Let me just ask you, put your hands up. How many people are building lists on here? Everybody put your hand down really quick, if you don't mind. And how many are building lists? Raise your hand if you're building lists. Okay, it's not many here. Okay, now more hands are going up. It's looking about like half are building lists. If you're not building an email list and you are in the internet world, you better start building one right now. That's one of the number one things that you have to do. And what's crazy, I'm telling you this now, up until 2.5 years ago, we were really never building the list. So about the first 7 years of being in this online world, I wasn't building the list. I wasn't sending out emails. Crazy as it be, now that I understand it, we were learning pretty much the hard way. So if you're not building a list, make sure you're building an email list and be able to be responding with them. Okay. And yep, Richard Campbell, all sales, working on it. Okay. So here's what happened was that I'm like, I need to differentiate myself. And if you guys know, I think you guys all do. Let me think of the Jim, oh my gosh, Jim Rohn. I'm like, what? I cannot think of Jim Rohn. And who is the other? I'm coming into a blank. Really the Godfather. But Jim Rohn was one of the first ones. Somebody gave me a tape, cassette tape, and I got Jim Rohn, I got Brian Tracy, and who's the other Godfather? Zig Ziglar. God dang, I could not think of Zig Ziglar. Tom Farrell, thank you for that. And I got some tapes, cassettes. And while I was driving from San Diego up through LA and Orange County, I turned, and this is what Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn says, and Brian Tracy, is turn your car into a university. And many people say that now. To me, it changed my life. Right? It changed my life. So I used to listen to Howard Stern or somebody else on the radio or music. And when I learned this, when I heard that one thing, it changed my whole world. Because now I was spending, instead of being in traffic for 2 hours going up to LA, or 3 hours to LA, and then 3 hours back down that night, I was educating myself and putting good things in my brain while I drove. So Zig Ziglar turned into Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn turned into Brian Tracy. And what happened was that, wow, there is a thing, because they were all talking about network marketing. I wasn't even thinking anywhere about network marketing, right? But what I was hearing was that there is a way to sell and communicate better. And so what happened is that when I learned these skills, wow, my commissions would go up, right? I actually became less technical because I learned more sales from these, to where what I knew was that you're not going to be the sharpest one, like for technical. I knew how to bring the right people in. I knew how to communicate with my divisions, right? With my different, motors and stages and all these technical stuff and programming. I knew how to communicate to get the right people to work together as a team. And that's one of the reasons also why Rhonda and I, we've built such a, what we call a tribe, and it's powerful is because we know how to communicate. And one of the things is that I don't ever lose that learning ability. I'm always educating myself on how to become a better communicator, right? Learn more about, the technical side of internet marketing and really the theory behind it of what works. So you're going to hear this pain funnel is coming from a different side. And I know it was one of the most influential things that have changed my life, but it's also how we've been able to generate multiple seven figures in this industry. And it's not because we're great marketers. Heck, that's why we have Jabril with us. And we surround ourselves with incredible marketers, right? Is because we're not the best. In fact, I'm not the best email copywriter I can get entertaining. But I do the things every single day, right? And I surround myself with good people. I make the right connections. And what I'm going to share with you on this call today, and I'd probably go for more than an hour. Is that okay with you guys if I go longer for an hour? Is that all right? Hands? Cool. Yes. Yep. Cool. All right. Sweet. I'm going to go for a longer an hour because I think it's very beneficial on here. And you're going to hear a side of things that you don't hear in network marketing or internet marketing. And it's this power of communication. So let me go right into it. So once I started learning that, right before I was actually Rhonda and I, we were going to quit our jobs when we got married 11 or 12 years ago. And I got a new position within another division within company Parker, and it was the life sciences. And they actually had their sales. What was crazy is that I was going to quit our jobs and we were going to go travel the world. And then our gig was to go get another jobs after that. We weren't even thinking about being in the online world. But I had this opportunity within my company, and it was a brand new position. And when I learned about it, they had staggering results that were different from the other divisions. And I mean, it was 5 times as much, return on investment for they were only serving X amount, and they were 5 times greater than almost any other division in the industry, in our company. And I was scratching my head. I'm like, people were scratching their head. And I was talking to somebody, and they said, well, we have this selling program that just freaking puts us above, the echelons. We don't have the greatest products, but we have a system of selling that puts us there. And I'm like, tell me more about this. And I thought, you know what? This is going to be one of the best learning programs ever. And I need to do this. And if you guys know Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, what was the thing? Do you guys know this story of Rich Dad Poor Dad? Yeah, everybody knows Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay. Well, here's what happened was that when he was a fighter pilot, and he went from the fighter pilot and then leaving, and his rich dad or his poor dad said, go and get a better education. And what did he go and do? He went into, anyone want to say it? Yes, he went into Xerox, right? Into sales, because he wanted to learn the art of selling, right? Tom Farrell says, I also know Sandler. And I'm giving Sandler, I was going to block out this thing, but I'm actually giving props to Sandler, because this is where I got, this is where I really started to learn and hone in these skills of communication. So I'm giving props. Sandler, hey, it's cool. It was more of a corporate side, right? But I'm going to bring it into the network marketing side and the social media side from here. So I'm getting some cool feedback. You can go for 2 hours if you want. Okay, I'm not going to go for 2 hours because I got to pick up my child from school. But here's where it starts from. So in the Sandler program, and there's also another program that I'm going to give a shout out to, and you might have saw it in the email, Natural Selling by Michael Oliver. He was actually another factor in what we've done in his selling. It's using the same concepts here. If you look at anybody in the selling world, even Frank Kern, many of you guys, do you guys know Frank Kern? Obviously you guys do, and I study a lot of what he does. But the way that they do the selling, it's not a hard selling. It's actually having people make decisions for themselves, okay? And so this is nothing brand new, but it's how you package it and how you communicate. And I tell you, if you study this type of communication, it's not only going to help you in business, but it's also going to help you in your relationships, communicating with friends, family, etc. So when I when I looked at, and I'm getting back really into this because it's interesting that in the business that I've affiliate offer that we've been in just recently is they say put down the phone, and I've went away from the whole communication. I've been doing my communicating through email, but I'm like, all right, what are some things that made a huge difference? So now I'm listening to more of the audios, getting back into this to really just hone my skills in even more. And that's a whole different others topic of what's happening. But I want to go in through this, okay? And you'll get me rambling on. Hopefully you guys don't mind. But here's what they call the Sandler training system, right? And bonding and rapport, upfront contracts, the pain. This is what the pain funnel is all about. And then there's the budget, the decision, the fulfillment, post-sale. Sounds very corporate, doesn't it? Right? Does it sound corporate to you guys? Yeah, of course. It sounds corporate. Anyway, it is corporate. But that's who they sold to, was corporate people. But it was amazing. So I'm going to go to the next thing, and I'm going to take you through in how to take each one of these segments into today's world. All right? You guys ready for that? Cool. Am I boring you guys? Is it too late? Are you guys falling asleep? No? Not yet? All right, you're good. Richard's good. Stephanie's good. All right, love it. Tom Farrell, cool. All right, you guys are good. Okay, so let's go into this on what this means in today's world. Okay, so the upfront contract before, good. No, not bored. Cool. I thought I was going to say not too bored. Not yet. All right, so here's where it happens. Let's take you to the front part of the submarine. And it's the first part of it's bonding and rapport. So if you look at it, bonding and rapport, when I was in the corporate world, I was doing face-to-face meetings. I was supposed to have like 3 face-to-face meetings per day, right? And so you do a handshake, you go into somebody's office, maybe look around their office, maybe see a picture, make a comment about them, like, oh, you got kids. Well, I can never relate on the kid thing, but you had to have some type of bonding rapport. Well, now in today's world, in the internet marketing and how we do marketing, we do our bonding and rapport through social media, right? So when the one thing about social media, if you notice, if you just start slinging out like make money from home and look at this, I got the system where I don't have to do anything and I can sit on my butt and make millions, people barf, barf, barf. And what happens if you're doing Facebook marketing like that? You're going to get shut down, right? And so what social media is about, and the reason why Facebook and like YouTube will shut accounts down is because they want a great user experience. Do you agree with that? They want a great user experience, and they don't want stuff with just it's not the network marketing, it's bad marketers and people throwing that, and they want people to have a good experience. And if there's people just slinging links and doing stuff on the online world, right, people are going to leave that platform. That's why Facebook marketing, you don't freaking do the work at home type of things. You got to give value. You got to give content. And what it is for, it's bonding and rapport. So you can take the good old handshake, looking them straight in the eye, wearing a nice suit and tie, or the way that we do it now, right? We do it through social media. Like if you look at Facebook, this is just our style, right? We're in life is too short to live normal. So we're this fun Freedom-Preneur family. It's been traveling the world, and that's the kind of market that we attract. And the big thing behind this is that if you're trying to appease every single person, right, you're going to appease none, and nobody is going to follow, and nobody's going to like, know, or trust you, right? So this is our gig. Rhonda, she really talks to women that they want to have a family, but they're corporate-like, but they want to be able to raise the family from home. That's who she appeases to. I'm a surfer, right? If you look down here, this guy Nathan, this is us being funny here on Instagram and drinking some Colt 45s at an event. 24-year-old dude Nathan Buchan, who's rocking the world. He's the guy that I was telling you about that went from a plumber scooping crap out of toilets and stuff to now making 6 figures plus on the market on the online world. And he learned his skills from Jabril, right? And so here's us just being fun. This is the people that we attract. So do we offend or do people like unsubscribe? Heck yeah. But you know what? We're not looking to work with everybody. Okay? I like to work with surfers. I'm the unstoppable surfer, right? I want to call myself I'm not like the best and biggest surfer. I'm not even close to it. but man, that's my lifestyle. That's what I like to do. So we're connecting with them. So that's the bonding report. I think everybody understands that, right? You guys all understand? Yes? Okay. Social media, don't sling links. Be yourself, because man, if you're trying to be somebody else, dude, no, you're never going to go anywhere on this world, okay? Let's go to the next step. Dun, 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 the upfront contract. Okay, this gets a little tricky. All right, so what is the upfront contract? In business, this is pretty easy. I'm sharing this with you. You got a handshake right here. You got the Chargers. That's my favorite team. I lived in San Diego for 11 years, and then the Bears. Anyway, what they're doing is they're flipping the coin. And what are they doing? They're making an upfront contract. They're like, okay, you're going to kick off to here. You're on offense first. You're on defense. You know, if the ball goes through the uprights, it's a field goal. If it doesn't, it's wide right. If you step out of bounds, then so we're making up an upfront contract because we have to play by a set of rules. You're wondering, why are you showing a picture of a king cobra in Morocco when you were there just a few years ago? Well, the reason why I have this picture in here. Are you guys wondering why I have a king cobra? A picture in an upfront contract? Anyone? Shout it out, like say if you know. It's cool. Okay, I'm not gonna have you. I'm gonna keep on going. Well, here's why. One of the things that we know about Morocco and Marrakesh is that it's a very we wanted to be part of it, and it's a very pushy place. And they're like, when you want to take pictures, they're trying to get money, and you want to do it, but you want to have a pleasant experience. And so what we did is we typed in on Google how to set up a pleasant taking pictures with the snake charmers in Morocco. And somebody says you got to make an upfront contract of what you're going to pay. Here's what it is, and you set the guidelines before they put the snake around your neck. Hopefully this is making sense to you. But I tell you, by us setting this expectation up first, we were able to go in, and before we even got close to the snakes and where they're putting the snakes around you, and then you're starting taking pictures, and then after that, then they want $50 from you, and then you got in a big argument, and you're in Morocco, and you're like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's a horrible experience, and you don't want to pay that much. Well, we made up an upfront contract. We said this is exactly what we're going to pay. This is how we're going to do it, and we want to get a few of these pictures. And I tell you, it was a pleasant experience. People want to do business with you with a pleasant experience. And one of the things that when people go through our marketing, they'll see if they see one of our marketing ads on Facebook, and we're giving them a free ebook away, like the Freedom-Preneur ebook, or we're giving them maybe Rhonda's video series exercise. And if you guys have been through it, I want to see some props on that if you like it. But what we do is we say, you know what? Here's something for you. But the people that we're looking to work with, we're not looking to work with people that are looking for lottery tickets. We're not, we're looking to work with people that got to put in their time, effort. They got to get their nose dirty. This is not just for people. What we're doing is we're weeding out people and setting up an expectation of what it takes to work with us. Because, we can make it fluff, but man, you got to do the work. If you agree on that, let's see some hands, because this is not a lottery ticket. There is a ton of stuff out there, but if you follow a system, right, and follow guidelines of what people do, you can make this happen for yourself, okay? People are like, yep, you got it. And so we set up an upfront contract to take out many people, because we're not looking to work with everyone, okay? And that's what this upfront contract is. We're setting expectations of, hey, you got to do the work. Right? All right. Making sense before I go to the next one? Right? Yep. Cool. All right. So now what happens is after you set up that expectation, there's going to be some times, and this is going to vary. And I'm taking another image from Sandler. Sandler, I'm giving you an endorsement right now. I do not get paid anything from Sandler. They don't even know I'm doing this. But I'm sharing this page with you because you got to ask people the right questions. And if you guys have ever done surveys, it's a great way to really get feedback from people, is because you start to, find out, well, why do you want to, make, let's say, how much do you want to make? 10,000. Okay, well, why do you want to make that? Well, I want to make that so it can be with my wife and my kids. I want to get away from my job. 1 second, I gotta drink water. I want to do it so I can go travel the world. I want to do it because this. Okay. So you ask some questions. Now, these are very salesy type of questions, but I put this in here probably because I had to do this really quick when I put this slide together. But it's good questions. Like, tell me more about that. Can you be more specific? When you have people talk, what is the thing? The best salesman is you have, 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? So listen twice as much as what you speak. Very, very, very big thing. Think about like when you go to a party, right, and you're meeting people, and you're speaking to somebody, and they're listening, and you don't even say a word, but you come back and you're like, man, I just met the greatest person at this party. No, they were just a good listener, right? Because people like to speak, and they don't, not everybody listens. Do you agree with this? You got to be a good listener, but you also have to ask the right questions. And now this is not just verbally, totally cool, is that you got to ask it, and it's not just a verbal thing. I did my first 7 years in the online by actually calling everybody back that responded to my ad. And at first it was random people, and why are you calling me, and how did you get my name? To, okay, then we started, our marketing started to have evolution, and we started having surveys, and they started seeing videos of us. And then I could, instead of people calling every single person back, I started sorting through people by asking these questions. And for instance, like Nathan Buchan, who you got to see on here, who I've been working for the last 3 years, I remember when he filled out his stuff, that kid was just like so freaking detailed by the questions I asked him, why you want to do it and what will that do for you, etc. I remember calling, I was like, man, I waking up, I'm like, I'm going to call this kid back first, right? And so I had these conversations, and I was like, hey, how did you find us? Okay, cool. So you found us through a YouTube video. Do you remember what it was particularly? And this will help you out, like if you actually are calling people back. I personally don't call anybody back, but I want to have you have this because this, you can incorporate this into your copy, right? In your surveys and when you're walking through a people process. And you know what? I'd have to say that, especially for higher ticket items, you're either going to want to have a coach, or you're going to be wanting calling people back and actually having this interaction. You can have interaction through Facebook Messenger, but there's nothing more powerful also especially when you're getting up to the higher levels of communicating. So you actually want to make sure it's in their best interest, right? And also to have that know, like, and trust. And through some of these questions that you have, you're able to find out what is it. Because if you look, is Anthony Robbins, I think in the Power of, I forgot what book of his, but he says people are motivated by pain or pleasure, right? Pain or pleasure. And either you're in so much pain that you're going to move away, that like, man, I'm doing this and I've been doing this for years, to where I'm in so much pain that I have to do something different, right? Have it be online or get a new job or whatever it be. Or you're motivated by pleasure, like, man, I want to go travel the world. I want to go hang out with these freedom-preneurs. I'm just saying something like, and go travel and do this. And I want to do this for my kids so they can go see different cultures around the world. And you move to that pleasure, but you have to do something different than what you currently do, right? So through this pain funnel, when you ask these questions, people are starting to sell themselves on why they need to change, why they should possibly be working with you. And if you have something to where, for what, if you can connect, because through social media now, man, the people that work with us, they're very much like us because we do attraction marketing and we know how to market and connect with the people, right? To have that audience. One of the big things to give you a tip is like, we really attract the 4-hour work week type of people, Timothy Ferriss. And I'm sure that many of you guys know who Timothy Ferriss is, but it was through his book, The 4-Hour Work Week, that actually had us giving us the idea of being able to let go of everything. It so helped that we lost everything financially in a bad real estate deal, right? To where like, okay, well, now do we stay in San Diego and rebuild? Or, hey, we know how to make money online. Do we take this and do what our passion is? And our passion is going and travel. So we set out on a 2-year trip around the world, and now it's almost 7 years later, right? But we attract people in that 4-hour work week type of model, right? And so we also attract people in like the Wayne Dyer law of attraction, Deepak Chopra, Brendan Burchard, a lot of those kind of in the personal development arenas. So that's our market. So we are looking with these type of people. And so the pain funnel is when you do these, you got to think about look at a good survey, because I'm sure that everybody's opted into many different forms, but look at the surveys that they actually have to fill out. And some of these questions are going to come up. If anybody, I'm going to do this, I'm going to show this really quick. I think, let me see if I have it in. I'm going to talk about the create your perfect day. If I don't remember, I'm going to say this, but I have, let me just pull it up right now. Okay, let me do create. If you haven't seen this is the video that Jabril and I shot back about, I think it's probably about 3 or 4 years old now. And this was the very first exercise that I did from a personal development course, the very first course. Actually, the gentleman who's coming out here to Bali this next week, but how they created this was the very first exercise I ever did. And it has such value that Jabril wrote this and said, hey, we got to shoot this video. And it's about a 30-minute video. And it's one of the most powerful videos that transformed my life. And it was why? Is because I actually wrote out where I wanted to live, what my house would look like. It was a dreamscaping, right? And I was creating what my perfect day was. So I was moving towards pleasure when I went through this exercise. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my thing. But it was through these, I got to create it. But then this is also the pain funnel. When you start working your way down of, let's say you're asking, let's say if you are prospecting and saying, okay, I want to make 10K per month. Okay, so why do you want to do that? I want to be with my family. Well, why else do you want to do that? Well, I want to go travel the world, etc. Well, here's a good question. Well, what if you didn't do it? What would your life look like in a year from now? If you didn't, get started or move forward. Well, it would probably be look about the same thing. And then what happens in their mind? People start thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do something. It doesn't matter, getting started with you. What you want to do is you want to be able to give good information to people, right? But have them walk it through themselves on, what is their pain points to move from pain to pleasure. Is that making sense? Hopefully I'm not going over, on the communication side. Is this making sense, and are you digging this? Totally making sense. Absolutely, yes. Cool. I'm gonna break it down. But this pain funnel is very, very important. Okay? It's asking the right questions. All right. So, budget and decision. So you're wondering, what's a budget and decision? All right. So I'm putting budget number 4 and 5 together. And so in here, I got my head injuries and stuff. And if you look here, this is a great example. I'm going to use this example because I think it's just freaking fabulous, right? Makes total sense. Yep. Great. Cool. Okay, so look at this guy. He's coming in. I'm gonna just share his story. I don't know what's going on, but I thought this was a great image. So you have the budget and decision. So let me give you an example of, let's say, a gentleman. This guy is probably in his mid-30s, maybe early 40s. I don't know how old. Let's say mid-30s. And he's got to go get a checkup, right? A men's monthly checkup, or let's say a woman with a mammogram, or the gynecologist or whatever it has to be. We got to go to our daily checkups. Well, you go there and you're like, okay, so this guy, he's walking into the doctor's office, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to pay $500 for this physical. I got to get my kids to school, and now I got to get here, and I got to get to my job, and my gosh, hopefully this doesn't take too long. And so he gets into the physical. He does x-rays. He takes these tests. He has to call. Right? So I'm going a little graphic, but hey, I want to keep you guys awake, especially for the people on the East Coast over in New York and stuff, Florida. Anyway, you've been through this, right? And what happens, okay, well, we're going to do some blood tests. We're going to do some things. Then, hey, come back, or hey, I'll be in contact with you in a few days. You guys have all been through this. Yep. Right. Then the doctor calls you back and, hey, Brian, yeah, we went through the test, and yeah, we got we got the test results back. This is probably nothing of too concern, but I want to have you come in, and I want to discuss a few things with you. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been through this, and you're like, okay, what's going on? So you went from this one time to where, man, I'm going to pay $500 for this, depending on what your insurance is. And now I got to go in, I got to spend an hour, I got to spend an hour and a half of my time, and this is really cramping in. I just want to get out of there. Well, now you have something to where it's nothing of too concern, but you better come in. You come in for the meeting. Now they're here talking. Yeah, well, we saw this thing, and it's probably nothing too much, but we're gonna have to do some further tests. Have it be whatever. I don't want to, go through a scare thing, but think of what's happening. You're like all upset with a budget of like paying $500, and it's taking like a few hours out of my day to, oh my gosh, I may have something life threatening, maybe like what my father did, 25, 30 years ago, right? I want to make this. I want to make a big point of this because when people say they can't get started, think of how many times, like if you're in the online world where somebody says, "I can't afford that. That's too much." It's something that's in their. It's in their like subconscious mind that they're going to probably say, "Well, if the problem's big enough, somehow you're going to find a budget for it, right?" Is this making sense with you guys? And I know this is kind of a weird thing using the doctor thing, but hopefully you guys can hear this. Is that so now I paid $500, then there's something that's wrong, whatever it may be, we're gonna have to do some more tests. And then you're like, well, this is not looking good on this. Well, that $500, for some reason, you're willing to pay 3, 5, 10. There's actually no limit on what you're gonna pay to get yourself healthy, right? And that's the same way. If everybody, when people throw out an example of it costs too much or this, no, it doesn't cost too much, is that your pain threshold isn't enough. And that's where you have to walk people through that pain funnel, right? So this is what I'm saying this for, is that when people they're motivated by pain and pleasure. And if their pain's great enough, it doesn't matter what the price, they're going to figure out a way. If somebody wants something bad enough, they will figure out a way to make it happen. When we lost everything financially in the bad real estate deal that we had, we lost everything financially, right? And what could we do? Well, we could go back and get jobs, right? That was the easy thing to do because I'm sure my company would have took me back. I'm sure Rhonda could have got a good. We both made 6 figures with what we did, but we lost everything. The easy thing to do was to go back and do that. Or we can move on and we can show to people that how we said, we're going to do this no matter what. We're going to continue. And not only are we going to continue to do this online, you have a physical duty. The way I see it, like when we call ourselves the unstoppable family, I think it's hard to live up to, like sometimes, like, man, there's some challenges that get so difficult in your life, but we have a duty to share to people, like, give them the inspiration, like, hey, you can do things differently, right? And so for us, that decision we made was like, no, you know what, we could get 6-figure jobs, but we wouldn't be following our passion, right? And we made a decision. We're like, hey, we're going to continue this online gig thing, right? And not only are we going to continue, we're going to go travel and be inspirations to others. We're going to make it bigger and better. If any of you guys know 50 Cent, right? The rapper. I don't care if you like rap or not, but you guys know 50 Cent. Who knows 50 Cent? Hands, yep. Have you read the book, The 50th Law? Anyone? And hey, I'm not a big rap fan. I'm just letting you know. But I tell you what, The 50th Law was one of the freaking best books I've ever read. It's actually amazing, right? And it's talking. Okay, I want to read this. Talking about. Okay, I'll read this, Nicola, in a little bit. But one of the biggest things when 50 Cent was about ready to have his first album come out, he got shot, right? And he got shot in the face, and they wanted to kill him. And so now he's a rapper, and he can't even speak. And so then he had to slur his words. He actually took one of the worst things possible of almost dying, to become his greatest asset, right? And that's what we will. And if you look at challenges in your life, I know I'm going a little bit off here, but I want to make a point on this. If you take some of your, because if you're in the online world, man, you're going to have crap thrown at you over and over again. And if you're not mentally sound and are able to move forward, you're going to just break down and say, man, this stuff doesn't work. I quit. You got to keep on going. And so anyway, the book with 50 Cent, you know, he turned in that biggest challenge of his life, almost dying, into his greatest asset. And he lives that way from here on out, right? That's the way he, and if you look at any of the greatest leaders or people that you look up to, man, most of their greatest freaking, like, their triumphs were after big falls. That's what happens. So we're like, okay, we had our worst freaking thing ever. It was our worst moment in our lives, and it became our best asset. So my point here on this budget and decision, it's never about the money. If you want something bad enough, you got to make it happen. Just watch out for motorbikes and surfboard fins like myself, and you know, eventually you're going to get a hernia or something, maybe a double hernia like myself. But it's never, just remember this. If I can give you one thing, it's never about the money. One more time. It's never about the money. All right, I'm going to move on. All right, so the next step is, okay, you got a budget, and then the person says, yes, I'm going to join you. Have it be like whatever your gig is, right? If you have business opportunity, we have our own products, Unstoppable Family Products. We have our own events, right? And we have our next one in Bali here this next week that we sold out a couple months ago. And anyway, a couple people can't make it. If you're very serious and want to talk, we have a couple spots open because some people can't make it. Anyway, if you're serious, we got to have a one-on-one interview about that. Anyway, just send me a private message on that. No big deal here. But here's the thing, is that you make a decision, whatever it be, right? And so then after you make they make the decision, is then they move to the fulfillment. So you got to fulfill on your promise, whatever your promise was. And let's say it's in a business opportunity or something. Well, you got to fulfill on this, right? So what is the fulfillment? All right. So let's see here. What that I have here is that if you're filling on, let's say, marketing training. I don't probably have the best images on here, but you're being with your daughter. Well, here's the thing, is that you want to be able to provide for the people, right, on what you promised them. Okay, so let's move to the next thing. So this is the thing to where you fulfill. So like, for instance, if it's an online product, well, you got to deliver the product, and mostly it's going to be online. If they buy a Unstoppable Mastermind event, well, we got to bring them to our event, and we got to provide the content that we're giving them, right? We got to do what we said, okay? And if we said we're going to coach you and train you and do certain things, and you're going to have live hangouts, well, you better do it. You got to fulfill on this, right? And if you don't fulfill, well, then, you know, you're going to get a bad name, and you're not going to last in this industry or any industry for that matter, okay? So what happens is that you have the post-sell, right? This is what's called buyer's remorse. Do you guys know what buyer's remorse is? Think about when you bought a brand new car, you're so stoked, and then you sleep on it overnight, and it's like, oh my God, did I just do that? Or you bought a brand new house, like, oh my God. Or what about if you pluck down $24,000 like my wife did 10 years ago? She didn't even tell me about it for 3 months. And then she's trying to make sales, and she doesn't make a sale for 3 months. And I'm behind her going, what have you done? I didn't even know she actually spent $24,000 to get totally invested. She might be having buyer's remorse. Maybe not you guys, but if you ever got started in something, you might have like, oh man, I got started with the wrong person. I got started with this. Well, you get this buyer's remorse. Well, how do you eliminate buyer's remorse? Well, there's a few different ways. And if you're not doing this, this is also how to build a tribe. And so this is why we are very good at what we do, is because we provide a community of people. How do we do this? We have live hangouts, live training calls, like what I'm sharing with you right now. I'm not selling you anything. What you're doing, I'm just providing you value. And here's what I know, is that if I provide you guys enough value, sooner or later, you may or may not, doesn't matter. You may join us, right? And then we got to fulfill, and you may work with us. If we keep on doing that all the time, giving great value, sooner or later somebody's going to probably buy something or join something of you. So I look at it as a long-term thing. I never look at things as a short-term, and especially in this industry, it's a very short-sighted business, and that's why we're here. At least that's our mission statement, is to change the way. I think network marketing is a beautiful thing, but it's given a bad name. You're like, oh, I don't want any part of it. Well, what if you change the name, the game, right? I think it's a great business model. It's allowed us to be free, and we've inspired and shared and changed people's lives, and it had some of the best relationships in the world because of this. I'm not going to walk away from it because of that, but what if we start changing the game? And that's what we do. That's why we're our Unstoppable Tribe. So we have live hangouts. Here's us being funny on the hangout, like you would have saw the video last night when Jabril and Nathan was on there, and Justin. We also have like a Facebook group, right, to where we're able to have a community. What we also do is that we have this tribe, right, and you can see up here, Unstoppable Mastermind. We have every 3 months or so, we throw a mastermind so we can be together. Because no matter how automated you get into this world, right, of having systems set up and automated things to where in target and marketing to where like these webinars just run all the time. There's one thing that I know out of 10 years in this industry is that nothing ever takes away from the personal connection. Flat out. The personal connection will never go away. And what I look at life and how we build our tribes is that we build it because we want a customer for life. We don't want to just keep on giving people the next gig and the next gig, and you just burn people out. And that's what gives this industry a bad name. What I want to do is Rhonda and I want to do in our tribe is that we want to give people an experience that they know, like, and trust us, and they know without a shadow of a doubt that we will not let them down. And people can let themselves down, but I never suggest anything that I personally haven't done or Rhonda hasn't personally done, right? You have to be real. You have to be authentic. We want to work not with a ton of people, but just a group of people to where, it's like you just don't have to burn through people. I want to have long-standing relationships. I want to do joint ventures and do something great with the people that we work with. I want to see them freaking become bigger and better than what we're currently doing. I want to see them take what we have and go off to the next thing. And by building what I'm saying in this post-sell buyer's remorse is like when people pay you, you don't just let them flop off. I'm not talking about holding their hands and like, I'm going to make you, make money. No, there's an 80-20 rule of everything you have in life. And there's going to be 80% of the people that are not going to do the work. Flat out. That's what it's going to be. And we're not here to enable people, right? We're here to empower people to actually take the next steps. If you ask Nathan here, this dog right here, I'm going on a little tangent. Am I all right? Am I freaking you guys out? This is when I get excitement. I'm usually the mellow guy, but I'm excited because I'm very passionate about this. And this guy, if you ask him, did we hold his hand? Did we freaking make things happen? No. He made it happen himself. But man, he ran with it. He works his ass off. I know, like, very well. He's actually staying in our house. And it's from those, if you put your work in, not only can you have a business partner or somebody that that you can joint venture with, but man, they're friends. Like, he's living here with us right now before our event. We're shooting videos, we're doing stuff. They're friends. I mean, can you just imagine like how you build a business that, and I'm not saying everybody's going to be a friend. That's not what I'm saying. But like, you have a relationship that you really like working with your people. Think about how many people that are still in jobs right now. How many people do you really enjoy working with? Huh? Love the analogy. Great training. You're right. Great. Thank you. Have a deep fest. Cool. Yeah. People that we work with and we surround ourselves with, man, we have a bond. So not only do we do fun stuff and make money together, but we're also friends, man. That's a cool thing. And I tell you, another cool thing is that my daughter is surrounded with all these people They're not just working to make a paycheck and do the minimum amount of work. The people that she gets to see who we work with, they're freaking driven. We drive each other. We freaking take each other to the next levels. And so that's why what number 7 is, we have this tribe. We have this community. Everybody wants to be part of something greater. And have it be an internet marketing business, whatever it may be, people want to make a difference. That's why also what we do, here, I think that's also next slide. You're gonna, okay, yeah, post-sell live events. Here you go. Here's one from Orlando. Here's one from Vegas. This is our first one. That's actually only half of it, but that was from Miami. That was the first event Nathan was at. Is he in this picture? No, there he is, right here. That was his first event. So this guy Nathan, this is, let's see the date on here. That was January 2014, last year. This kid came in green, right? He had no idea of what the heck was going on. And now, at these other events, he's one of the trainers and the people that look up to him. He's the one who's building his own tribe. It was from a decision to where I put to this kid and said, hey, if you're going to do this, listen to the Hangout replay. So if you are getting value out of this and you have not listened to our Hangout replay from last night that we have, listen to it, because if you want to hear a story, it's a freaking great story. It's an amazing story. But that's why we have these live events. That's why we have the most duplicatable team in our company that we're presently with. And there's also another ones that these Portuguese people that they have a tight tribe. Love those guys, man. Love them. Lots of value. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate that. That's why we have these live events, man. And are they easy to put on? Heck no. If it wasn't for Rhonda, there's no way that these things could happen, man. She's a workhorse. She freaking does things. She hardly sleeps. And the reason she does it, because she believes in what we're doing. We believe in our Freedom-Preneur movement. And I tell you, man, we're changing the world. Not just us, because we can't do it alone. We have to do it with our tribe. All right? Last thing. Here's the thing. Don't be Rhonda. Don't be myself. Don't be anybody else. Number 8, our favorite number. Be yourself. See this picture here? I'm hoping everybody's been seeing my screen the whole time. You've been seeing my screen. I love the images and stuff I put on. Like, we build a personal brand, and we have a goofy picture. Like, right? I mean, I look like a dork right here. Somebody's got a case. I just do that. It's funny. Look at this. Live too short to live normal. This is just who we are. Does it work? I don't know. Some people like it. We offend a lot of people, too. Look at me. I got my wine bottles all over there. Unstoppable Swano. I got to make a hashtag. I've never done that hashtag since. And then Rhonda screaming at me. My point is, you just got to be yourself and be fun. And if you're being yourself and you're passionate, people will see that. When you're not being yourself, people will see through shit. Just like, from if I'm in Bali, which I am, and you're in the U.S., if you're thinking that, there's a reason why no one besides, I think, a couple people, and I think have dropped off the call, is because I'm giving you value. I have giving my wife a massage, but still watching this awesome training. Go for it, Tim. That's awesome. I love it. Maybe I'm soothing you as giving the massage, but we're giving value and stuff. And people will. If I was just feeding you bullshit and trying to sell you into something, you're gonna see it. So you got to be yourself. Other than that, I'm gonna recap it one more time. The bonding and rapport, upfront contract, paying, budget, decision, from post-sell. I'm gonna go through the slides one more time here, just to, and I want to give credit one more time to Sandler. I don't get paid by him, and then also Natural Selling. That's Michael Oliver, great guy. Highly recommend his work. He's got a book called Natural Selling. Social media, and don't sling links and don't just freaking put garbage out there and Facebook will shut you down. And I like it when Facebook. I've been shut down times, and we don't even do it, but it's like people get the haters. Haters. How do you deal with haters? You know what? You just do great things and don't care about them. You know what? You have people that are saying, you join one of those online things. You know how many, we still have friends and family that don't even know what we do, and that's fine. It's totally fine. When we lost everything financially, do you know how many people, our friends and family, said, you're freaking nuts? What are you doing? You've lost your marbles. We don't care. We don't care. What we wanted to do is we want to do what we're passionate about. And if you don't please yourself, you're not going to please anyone else, right? So if you're here and you want to make a difference, man, whatever it may be, because this is going to help you out in anything that you do, take this to heart, man. You got to freaking treat yourself right first, man. And so bonding rapport, be cool, set the upfront contract, man. You're not looking to work with everyone, right? Pain funnels, man. Find out, have people, walk people through, ask them questions, put it in the surveys. Because people move from pain to pleasure, just like Tony Robbins says, right? And everybody says that, right? Budget and decision. My point here is, man, it's never about the money. Remember that. It's never you. I don't buy my own excuses. Don't start buying other people's excuses, okay? Because it's never, ever, ever about the money. If you want something bad enough, you will figure out a way to make it happen. Capiche? Cool. Fulfillment, man, you got to fulfill on your promise. When you do it, you got to fulfill on the promise. I don't think this is the greatest slide zone. Like when I put this together for a mastermind, I put this together for, like, what was I thinking on this? So I'm just going to give you my human thing. What was I actually doing on the fulfillment? You just got to do your promises. I must have been smoking something while I put this slide together. It doesn't make sense all the way. Maybe I put it on the I'm just being human right here. No, but like you got to fulfill on your promises, and how we do that, we do it through Hangouts, giving more value back than you can, than you're looking to take, and have a tribe, man. There's nothing more powerful. If you think of some of the people, if you haven't read the book, Seth Godin, Tribes, freaking unbelievable book. And all great people out there, man, they have their own tribes. The 4-Hour Work Week, man, they got, 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body. Tim Ferriss, he's got his own tribe. You look at Chris Guillebeau, Art of Nonconformity, he has his own tribe. When you build a long-lasting tribe, man, they will be there, and they'll go to battle for you in case things go wrong. And that's why we have an inner circle of our people. Not everybody's going to be able to stay with us here. And, we're not looking to be friends with everybody. It sort of happens. Man, if you build a powerful tribe, it's the most powerful thing ever. So start building your tribe one at a time. You all have something great. You all have something that you can give to people. Be yourself. So in wrapping it all up, it all started with me in the corporate world. Suit and tie. Actually, I wasn't wearing a tie here, but I was wearing a tie. I mean, I wasn't wearing a suit, but I was wearing a tie here. Since I lived in California, they didn't like wearing suits. But if I would have been in the Midwest or the East Coast, I would have been wearing a suit. I don't know if they do now or not. But, it started off by one Zig Ziglar book. And that led to Jim Rohn. And then Jim Rohn led to Brian Tracy. And then, lo and behold, started getting good at something. Here's one thing. Here's another piece of advice I want to give to all of you guys. Get good at one thing really good. Like, for instance, with Jabril, he's incredible at Facebook marketing PPC, right? He was really good at YouTube. He's still good at YouTube. But I tell you what, when you get good at one thing, don't try to master everything, because you're going to get scattered. You're going to quit. Get good at one thing, right? One of the things that I learned from early on, if I can sell in a as Frank Kern says, in a non-douchey way, right? And have people make up their minds for themselves. The book of the Tao says that when a leader leads, he doesn't tell the people how to lead. He allows them to actually make up their decisions for themselves. And when the people actually feel that they did it themselves, that's where the magic happens. And I might have butchered it a little bit, but you get my point, right? It's not about leaders. Again, they don't like, you have to do this for me. They're freaking in the trenches pushing them. That's one of the things that we do. We're in the trenches and pushing, man. we believe, you got to believe in what you have. If you don't believe in what you have, don't even do it. If you're just doing this for the money, we all come here for the money, but if you're just doing it for the money, it's short-sighted, it's short-lived. You're going to burn through people. You want to do something to where you feel good. You look back on your life. My daughter, 8, Hanalei, who's 8, and I see how she sees how we are. You want to feel good about it. That's it. I tell you what, I will do Q&A, like dying of hunger right now. Because I'm supposed to be doing some coaching calls, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to get back to everybody, because I think I want to be able to hit as many people. But I'm going to go through some questions. If everybody could put their hand down, I wonder if I can put everybody's hands down. Okay, everybody's hands down. If you have a question, I will pull you up, and I'll spend as much time as possible. I'll answer any questions here. Okay. Nicola, you had your hand up first. I'm going to unmute you. Unmute Nicola. All right, Nicola.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey, Nicola, did I bore you today?
No, I found it really interesting. It was my first time actually listening to you, and I've been on the edges of your tribe, but starting to jump in a bit deeper and a bit further.
Nice.
My question for you is, how do you know what that one thing that you might do is, like the thing that you're passionate about? I have maybe 50 things that I love doing, and I'm not sure how to monetize that or how to make a living from that.
Okay, so share with me. This will be good. How do you figure what your okay? Well, what do you do right now for income?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm mid-30s and I've just moved back to my parents.
Okay. Cool. So what are your passions?
I'm trained marketer and I'm a trained neuromuscular therapist.
Muscle. What did you say? What kind of therapist?
Neuromuscular. It's like cross between massage and physio. Okay.
So massage and so that's what you're passionate about, right?
I'm passionate about bodies no, that's not true. I love bodies. I love biomechanics. Passion, I don't think that's quite there. I really like people achieving the best that they can, and so I've been working with top performing athletes because I can take minutes off their time by improving their body mechanics.
Okay, so you get paid for doing that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're already getting. So when you say you're doing nothing, you are doing something, right? Or is that something you used to do in the past?
No, not for income at the moment. This is my first week of no income. I've given up doing the body work because the neuromuscular therapy, because my body, it takes hammering on my body, and I've been doing it for 7 years, and I'm not recovering as fast as I used to, and I don't want to make chronic injuries and things like that. So I want to get into something else that's going to be a bit more sustainable for me.
Got it. So
physically.
Before you just quit 7 days ago, what were you doing to put yourself in the next position?
Not a lot. I still am, I suppose, quite burnt out.
Did you have a plan?
Working and
you just quit and say, okay, I'm gonna.
Did I have a what?
Did you have a plan before you quit?
No, I just needed. Oh no, when I quit my massage, yes. But I've been doing marketing jobs since. So that's been 18 months, and I'm still kind of floating.
What kind of marketing jobs?
Just promotions. Just for small businesses.
For small businesses. How much are you getting?
So working for the membership.
That?
Pardon?
How much are you getting paid for that?
Or do I have to say? Not very much. 20K.
Okay. So you're doing small promotions.
So that's New Zealand dollars.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so if you're getting paid for that, right, and if you can incorporate what you're doing, right, with the body. Have you ever read Gary Vaynerchuk's any of his books, like Crush It or Right Jab or Left or whatever?
No, I haven't heard of them.
Gary Vaynerchuk, here, I'll pull him up. He's got a great book called Crush It. That was like his first book. And, for instance, anything that I'm going to pull this up and then push pause here. He has a great thing. It's like if you have something that you're passionate about, you can figure out a way to make it happen, right? So you're getting paid for this. If you are passionate about that, what are some things that you think you could do to continue on your passion of that and get paid to do it? Like, what are some things would you think?
What are some things that I think I could do to get paid about what I'm passionate for? Yeah, I guess I get to the point where I think, well, I'm not afraid to speak in front of groups. I quite enjoy that, and I quite enjoy. Well, yeah, I do. I really enjoy working with groups, but then I try and figure it all out.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you think you could? Do you know enough about massage and in the body, or like, do you have some niche to where you're like, you have a niche to where I'm good at that? I may physically not be able to do that for my body anymore, but do you know some things that just a niche to where you could benefit a lot of people?
Yeah, I could teach massage. I know a lot about it.
Well, I'm just going to give you. I'm going to give you an example, and you got to be creative on this. I'm just going to throw this out there, but like for instance, Rhonda, we're going through a transition, and she was actually. This is an event called Add the Nitrous with Matt. It was Matt Lloyd's event back about 4 years ago, and one of the speakers that was supposed to be there wasn't able to show up, and he's like, "Hey, Rhonda, can you speak on stage?" And it was actually like a speak to sell type of thing, where you had to sell something, and we had no product whatsoever, and we're supposed to speak in 24 hours, and it was Rhonda, myself, and Jabril, and we had to brainstorm of how do we create a product in 24 hours. And Rhonda goes, we're like, well, what are you good at? And she goes, I'm good at branding. And we're like, let's make a 4-week branding course, because they, you ever seen a 4-week course that you pay for online?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right? And you don't have to be the best, but if you're better in helping other people, then you can sell that. So for instance, Rhonda we created a branding workshop and created her whole hour presentation overnight, and she sold it from stage, and she actually sold, it was on the third day, she actually sold more of the crowd, not the highest dollar value, but the most to the crowd. And she was passionate about that, right? And I'm not saying this is going to be an opportunity, but this was something that happened out of thin air, okay? And had she ever done a branding course? No. Was she licensed to be? Well, I don't know if you have to be licensed, but did she provide good value? Absolutely, yes. And it was something now, people pay Rhonda to be part of her branding workshop. They paid her all, we've, I think, charged up to $888. And we may have went over 1,000 and had a discount, but usually for like a 4-week course, and she hasn't done it for a while. Now, she has the product online. We have the Unstoppable Mastermind workshop, but that was something that was created out of thin air. But you know what? She was really freaking good at it, and she thought, well, why not? And you know what? If it didn't work, we would have figured something else out. But it did, and the fact that she's passionate about it, the more she's passionate about it, the more she's able to do it. And when you're good at something, you'll continue to do it. So if you're good at the massage, you have something that nobody else has, offer it up. You want me to give you another example that's really, I'm not going to name the name, but this is hilarious. Not really hilarious, but I think it's freaking unbelievable. Is that we went to school in San Diego, and this is hilarious. I don't believe I'm going to say this on here, but these people were polyamorous, right? So you can have, more than one couple. It's like you're still married and stuff. And
oh yeah.
And it's all cool. And they actually were friends, and our kids played together. And they were on a show. You probably, if people are like going, I know that show, it was on Showtime. And they actually were able, they're like, okay, and it was actually the same teacher that Rhonda's mentor, Lisa Sasevich, is, and she coached him on like, oh, hey, you're polyamorous. Are you one of the best, or to creating their tribe? And they were on Showtime, and she's like, well, maybe you could do this and this. And they sold a course. I don't know what the course was, but it was like a 4-week workshop on, I don't know if it was like how to be a polyamorist or whatever it was. I'm not joking. And it was funny. It's like, because they're friends, we became friends. Our kids were in school, and she's like going, oh my God. She goes, I got my big webinar, like just like what I'm doing on GoToWebinar, but I'm not selling you guys anything. And a lot of they're like, this is hilarious. Yeah, he's a man. Like, get a lot of funny comments. But the thing is that she didn't know how to do anything online, but she knew how to do this. And I don't know all the traits, but she sold like a workshop for couples being into this lifestyle, and she was so scared. And I remember asking her, like, how did it go? And she goes, man, the GoToWebinar, I couldn't do the functions and this. And we actually helped her. We're like, okay, this is what you have to do. Have your husband be able to run the controls and stuff, and do this, and this can make your presentation better, and do this. And they made a living out of it. So my point is, if you're better than anything, you can sell anything, but you got to have it, and you can do it through a variety of ways, like a workshop or something. So I'm going to leave it at that. That was a long one, but does that help you out?
That does help me, and I was coming up with all sorts of ideas in my head as you were saying that, of what I love doing and what I would talk to people on the street about, what I would harass people with, kind of thing, because I just love talking about it so much, and that would be somewhere that I would start.
Cool. Well,
and in terms of structuring that or creating that, would it be to start off with, at the end of this 4 weeks, I want someone walking away thinking X, Y, and Z, and so work backwards from there in terms of the content?
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole different thing that you're going to want to get a hold of a course for that. I can't. I want to make sure as I hit as many people on that. But send me a message, and I could probably recommend something for you, okay?
Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, Nicole, cheers. All right, I saw Mark Cannon, who I just met with in Sydney, Australia, when we were stuck because of the volcano. So, Mark, how are you and Mrs. and Coco? You there, mate?
Am I on?
You are on live.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
So I think you probably would have just heard Monica rousing at me.
No worries. What's your question?
Oh, mate, I just wanted to know if there was a replay on this, mate. I love the passion and everything you put in. It's very motivating.
Right on. Yeah, no, I'll have a replay. Hopefully the recording. Yeah, the session is being recorded, so as long as I don't move out of memory, I'm good to go. So yeah, it's all. I'll give this to you guys. I'm not going to give it out to everybody, but for you guys, do you guys all want a replay of this? Will this help you out? Can I get a show of hands? Cool. People are digging it. All right, yeah, no problem. I'll give a replay. I don't even know how to get my attendees up here again. So now I need somebody else to help me with my things. Okay, I'm gonna put all the hands down. So yeah, I'll get a replay out for everybody here. Do you have anything else, Mark, that I can assist you with online?
That's it at the moment. Unfortunately, I've got to bolt to work right now.
Right on. All right. Well, hey, it was good seeing you. See, Mark, he actually met Rhonda and I at he got started with us just this last year, not too long ago. And when we were stuck in Sydney, bad place to be stuck, Manly Beach, right? And we put it out there. We're like, hey, anybody want to come and meet up with us? Well, no, we're very open, friendly people. Like, come to this place and meet us. And you guys, you and your little baby girl who is, I think, 8 months, Coco, is that right?
Yeah, 8 months. She was 8 months on the 8th.
So we got to see them and hang out with them. It was great to meet all three of you guys. So awesome. So we got to see them. Cool, man.
Yeah.
I will.
Great for us too.
No worries. All right. I put everybody's hands down, and I'm gonna see if anybody else has some questions. Christos, let's. Hey, is this the Christos that's joining us here this next week? Is that right?
Yeah, that's me.
Right on, mate.
At the Vegas
Look at
event.
this. Look at this guy. We met in Las Vegas, and he goes, "I want to be at the Bali." I didn't even know how it came down. How did it go down?
Well, I don't know, probably May-ish. I met Nathan online, started following him, did the trial, kind of let it expire.
Yeah.
A couple months later, it was probably late June. Something in my head brought me back to Nathan. I'm like, let's do it. All in, first day.
Yeah.
Then he invited me up to, or he told me about the event. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So signed up for that. Met all you guys, had an amazing experience. Rhonda was mentioning something about Bali.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's Bali? And she started telling me about Bali. I'm like, well, that sounds cool. She's like, you're coming. I'm like, what? All right, I'm coming. I was like, right there. Sign me up.
Very cool. So, and where are you flying from?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City, Missouri. Well, here's Christos. I'm gonna give you a big ball guarantee. Okay, you ready for the big ball guarantee? I actually got the big ball thing from Frank Kern. I was listening to him. Your life will never be the same by coming out here. And the the guarantee on that, I can guarantee it won't be the same. I don't know which direction it'll go, but you're opening the fact that you're coming from Kansas City, Missouri, and you're going to descend here in Bali. You're putting yourself out there. Your life will not be the same. And when I'm saying that is that when Rhonda took the first step way back when she went to her first event, and then she drugged me to our first event, which I will introduce you to the person that actually I got started in his company. He's going to be at this event here in Bali. And it was that event that transformed my life. That was in Cancun, Mexico. And I can just guarantee you on that. So it's good that you made a decision. And you made a decision, right? Because we had a few spots open up. And let me ask you, were you afraid of the flight? Or were you afraid of, how did you make the decision? What was the one thing that made you make the decision saying, I'm going to join you guys? Do you remember?
Gut feeling, passion.
Yeah. Cool. Now you got
something, back of my mind is, same similar story. I come from the corporate world. I loved what I did for about 5 years. I'm 8 years with the company now. And it's just been soul draining, I guess is probably the best word.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for a change, and here's the change.
Nice. Well, we're going to be able to map you out here. Have you been doing the pre-work? You've got the pre-work from my brother. Have you been?
Yeah, I just got it yesterday. I think it was the day before. We got everything squared away.
Cool. Dig into it as much as you can because it's going to help you out as much when you get here. And the more you put into it now, the more benefit you're going to get out of it when you get here.
Definitely.
Man, that's very cool because it's a freak like you. And then you know what? Here's the cool thing. Is that this is going to be one of those moments that you're like, man, I made this decision. I did it. Probably don't tell too many friends or family. They're going to think you're a freak. But it'll be a pivotal moment, if you allow it to be. And so I commend you stepping out of that comfort zone and look forward to working with you. But what you're seeing right here, see this Freedom-Preneur on my screen?
Yeah.
This is going to be evolving. Okay? You guys, have you seen this video yet?
I've not seen it yet.
You're kidding me. Has anyone else seen this video? If you're going to be part of a project, I should freaking play it really quick. Do you guys want to see this video? Anyone want to see the video? Yes? Cool. Yep. Richard, yes. You see it? Cool, yes. All right, let's play it. Okay.
What's a freedom-preneur? A freedom-preneur is really adventurous.
Enthusiasts, life enthusiasts. Freedom-preneurs are happy, crazy, like to have a lot of fun, and they're super caring. We'll do what it takes to go and get it,
Not afraid to take risks. No excuses. We have a winning mentality, and if things become rough, if we hit a rough patch, we know that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel.
I would say it starts with living life on your own terms. Anytime, anywhere, in any situation, you're able to take care of your needs.
Traveling around the world, working anywhere from remote. You give us just a little bit of internet, and we're able to connect.
So many individuals that from all walks of life, there's people that have different careers, different backgrounds, so many different stories, but, they all have their own vision and dreams of freedom, whatever that means to them.
So, for instance, I'm a surfer. I'm up at the first of light, and I'm out catching waves, snowboarding. If there is fresh powder, I am out there, and I revolve my life around my lifestyle, and the work revolves around that.
To me, freedom is having a different view every day. I like to travel, and it doesn't always need to be somewhere exotic. It just means being able to take a couple weeks off to go ride my motorcycle.
I'm not forced to go to a job I have to just because I have to pay my bills or, to survive. When you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Our definition of freedom is being able to raise our daughter first, you know what I mean, and build a business on the side.
I'm actually halfway through my travels around the world living out of my backpack.
Freedom-Preneurs look at their children in the face and see, what can I do to better them? How can I help my child be a contributor to the world? So many parents don't think about that. They don't take the time to be present with the kids.
And when Freedom-Preneurs come together, it's like a freaking explosion.
A mesh of energy that is just so contagious.
They want to see the best in people. And to do that, they connect.
I fit, and we all fit together, and it just makes me feel complete.
Everybody is so different, but we all click together because we have the same purpose.
By living these new experiences, you get to see and adapt and, be part of this world. I mean, it's a big, big world.
No, you can't really describe a freedompreneur. By definition, everyone is different. Everybody has their own dream. And so it's the whole point of being a freedompreneur. No label.
The truth is, you are a freedompreneur when you begin to live like a freedompreneur. When you begin to feel it and sense it, and every action that you take is a reflection of your belief that your vision of freedom is that important to you.
Is going to be a very common thing here in the future. Nice, man.
That's powerful, dude. Love it.
Well, you're going to be part of that while you're here. So, welcome. I think I'm going to end it with that. So I got to eat and go pick up my baby girl from school. It went a little longer, but it's all good, man. It's like, I just want to end it with you guys. Is that, it's like, I woke up today like, oh, I got to do this. Electricity went out. Oh, I'm not going to be able to send out a broadcast email, this, and oh, I'm going to have to do this. Is like so many challenges, and it's weird. It's like when you, when you're passionate about something, like you really don't care. Like I could keep on going, but I do have to get rolling, and it's like I'm excited about it, and I want everybody. You can get a good training and stuff, but I think a lot of the stuff, we're not the best on what we do, but we're passionate about what we do. We believe in what we do. And if I can just share that with you guys and give you a couple of little skills to, take your lives to the next thing. If you got some nuggets on there, share it. I'll do a blog post and have this as like a video for one of our blog posts. I want to hear from all of you guys. If you haven't done the Create Your Perfect Day, just Google Create Your Perfect Day, Unstoppable Family, and you'll come to this page. Make sure you come to this page. And, oh wow, usually you have comments on there. But I want you to go through it. I wonder if it's on the Create Your Perfect Day. And it's kind of where sometimes the browsers don't work. But I'd love to hear from all of you guys. If you've done it, do it again. And I want you to put it in the comments of what your perfect day is. Would you guys do that for if you got some value out of today? where you share your perfect day, because what it does, and is anyone else seeing comments? Maybe okay, here's the comments. Good. But I want you to write out what your perfect day is. And because what it does here, this is the very first exercise I did. When you write it out and you put it in here, is that you're going to put it out to the universe, and people are going to see, and it's like an accountability. Nobody's going to be accountable to you, but you're accountable to yourself. And I believe that every one of you guys, every single one of you guys, you have something that you're better than anybody else that you can share with the world, and you should be living your perfect day. And you know what? It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. But it starts with making a decision on whatever that may be doing. Okay, Nicola, something with your massage or how you do a product. And everybody should be living that. So if you got some value out of it, I would love to hear your comments and write it out, because it's not only going to help you, it's going to help the other people that are coming to this page, and you're going to inspire them. You know what can happen? You can be like that Nathan Buchan, who's now she's planning. He's planning with my wife and my brother, and his girlfriend, and we're friends now. It's like, but he went out there. He's made it happen. So with that, guys, I really appreciate every single one of you. I love it. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your time, energy. The Gore Skid Kitty, nice. Ellen, easy to find you on YouTube. You're welcome. Sick. Cool. All right, guys. That's it. Go out, be unstoppable, and I commend people that are on the East Coast that it's past almost 1 o'clock. It's almost 1 o'clock my time in the afternoon. Be unstoppable. Love you guys. Cheers.